Frank and Rob, partners in property and mortgage celebrities.
I love it. Thanks. Yeah, I like the plug.
Yeah, man. What's up, everybody?
What's going on?
Frank and Rob, your partners in property, here for another episode in the Mortgage Celebrity Studio.
Yeah.
Here with our boy, Matty.
What's up, guys?
Talk all
Thanks for
things
coming in.
real estate mortgages. Let's go.
Yeah. We got some really, this is a great topic today. Actually, no one's really hitting on is you guys know you settle on a house, bought a house, which we're always here to help and love people, getting people in houses, getting some keys, but you brought on a new mortgage payment and let's get some money back in your pocket.
Sure. What can we do now, right?
Yes. Now that you closed, now what?
Yep.
We got you up to this point. What are some ways that we can help out?
Sure. And I think a lot of times people are excited, right? It's closing day, the new home. Mm-hmm. They're focused on moving in, furniture, setting it up, making it home. Yep. So it's easy to forget some of the things they could be putting in place or things that they need to remember. Mm-hmm. You know, once the dust settles, they're in. It's a few months down the line. Yeah. You know, things maybe they could be reminded of, or things that, you know, if there's little pointers or, you know, ways that we're touching them, right, and reaching out, that it can remind them of some of those keys. Big time. Let's get into it.
And big savings. So being numbers guy, I'll jump on number one. It's exemptions. So especially here in Lehigh County, every county generally, you're going to have your homestead exemption. So it's important that if it's your primary home, which most of them are for the most part, there is a homestead exemption. Right. Maybe the last owner maybe had it as an investment or a rental property. Maybe there's not a homestead exemption on it, or maybe there is. You need to renew that homestead exemption.
Right. So they would need to apply for it because it wasn't previously in place, correct? Yeah, absolutely.
So you usually, and it's not done like instantaneously. You got to wait for the deed to be recorded. So it might be like 30, 45 days later till you can go to the whatever your county courthouse is generally, or your governmental office, tax authority. Everyone's a little bit different what they call it, but you want to make sure that that's filed, because and depending on your tax bill, you know, that could be a couple $100 easy. Check the box. Yep. Savings
easy,
here.
A little savings.
We all love saving on those taxes.
Easy to forget 30 to 45 days after,
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah, we remind you at closing, but that's something that could easily just slip right out and be forgotten.
And if you forget right off the bat, guess what? Year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5, it could be $800 a year. It just compounds itself back
quickly.
In your pocket. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. No, great point. Yep. You know, something we try. We have so many things to go over with them, right? It can almost be overwhelming too. Yeah. When you're at the closing table, remember to change your, utilities. Remember to check all this stuff. Is your homeowner's insurance in place? All those things. Mm-hmm. And then you try to give them the whole list.
Well, homeowner's insurance, prime example.
Yeah.
What about that? That comes every year, right?
Correct.
So
it gets renewed on the yearly basis. Mm-hmm. And most people, I would say, do have, I'm not even sure a percentage, I would think it's pretty high, escrow built into their mortgage for their property tax and their insurance, right? Yeah. So I think a lot of times it's that set it and forget it. And people don't think, hey, maybe I should be shopping, and making sure I'm still paying a good premium for my homeowner's insurance every year when that comes due.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's a good one as well.
Number 2, that was super easy to do, just to make sure that A, you're covered enough, and B, do you really need certain coverages? Maybe you got rid of some jewelry that you don't need anymore, something like that.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Change the policy slightly. Mm-hmm. Yep. Or make sure you have enough coverage too. Mm-hmm. I think sometimes people don't realize they could be slightly underinsured, especially for like the total cost of rebuilding their home. Mm-hmm. Little things like that I've seen in policies when we get it looked at. That, now the cost of things have gone up slightly. So your rebuild cost in case of a catastrophe might not quite be enough. Yep. And you don't want to be underinsured either. You want to be paying the best rate possible, but you also don't want to be in that situation.
You won't know until
where you're like, now I have to rebuild my house and there's not enough money coming from insurance.
Yes.
Could be a problem, right? Energy bills too, and we're talking about shopping, right? Mm-hmm. Deregulation of energy gives you the opportunity to shop that generation. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
that's an easy one. You can see on that with us locally. Usually, your PPO bill will have things on there.
Yep.
So it's changing who you get your energy from. Huge, easy savings on that one. Rob, too, while we're talking about changing stuff, you had mentioned, too, about changing locks. Something is easy. You have a different outlook on a lot of just housekeeping stuff that's huge.
Sure, yeah. So for me, security is really important. Make sure you change the locks. You never know who has additional keys to that home.
Right.
Also changing the filter. We don't know the last time that was changed.
Oh, like your furnace and
And great example, right? Unfortunately, we're in a situation where sometimes, even though we don't never want it to be this way, sometimes buyers have to, waive their inspections.
Yeah.
So remind them to say, hey, if it hasn't been serviced recently or we don't have a record of that from the sellers, at least check the filter, right? At least say, hey, let's make sure that that's not past its life, and that's one of the first things we should do, regardless.
Right. So
it's a really good
cleanability,
point.
and I know a lot of people, if especially if you're rushing to move to your new home, don't necessarily have that time. But if you do, hire a cleaner. You never know who's been in that house. They've done open houses. They've had people walk in all the time.
Maybe movers or family helping them move, right?
Yes. Send
really
somebody
good point.
over. We know a lot of really great cleaners out there. So it's a great way to just start off with a nice clean home. Also change the security locks or security codes.
Yes.
And cameras. You never know who has access to cameras now.
Yeah, you do. I mean, we're seeing people leave.
You're right.
People leave like the Nest cams and stuff now, and the Ring doorbell cams.
Yes.
A lot of times, if we don't remind them, even if it's our seller, remind them, you want to like disable that access or get rid of the app or take those cameras off of it, because as soon as that reconnects to a new Wi-Fi, those people could potentially, the previous owner could have access to your cameras.
They could be watching.
You're like, oh, that could get interesting, right?
Oh my God.
So,
Rob, those are awesome ideas. I didn't even think of that too. Changing all of those things are huge.
Yes. And then finally, I always, design-wise, since it's going to be a new home, not a lot of people know about it, but Pottery Barn, in Lehigh Valley Mall, they do have a free design service. So shout out to my Pottery Barn people. But they do have a design service that you could just walk in, let them know ahead of time that you're going to be moving into your new home. They will go into your house, they'll survey it, they'll take measurements. All of this stuff will be Pottery Barn, but naturally you could just get that floor plan and shop around if you wanted to.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, that's
and it is, and they're great there. I mean, they're very easy to work with. And,
very easy.
I'll give them that pitch too. I mean, it's quality furniture, right? So if you're going to spend a little extra, it's going to last.
Yeah.
You got kids, dogs, everything like that. The furniture gets beat up pretty quickly.
And how much does that
Sometimes it's
cost for
worth
them
it.
to do that?
It's free. It's a free service, right?
That's awesome.
And if they give you a floor plan and you like what they have, give me a call, because I do have a designer discount. I could help you out. That extends to West
Perks
Elm.
on perks on perks.
Right.
Why didn't I know this?
Partners in property for all
wish I knew
things.
that.
That's right.
Wish I
Home
knew that like 8
related.
months ago, and I bought all those furniture. Okay.
We got all that. We got that Rolodex for all the good things.
do,
You know.
we do.
Okay. All right, so I'm not going to do anything until I call you guys.
Come on, Matt. You should know by now.
They're buying new furniture. The other thing I have on my side is probably, which a lot of people, some do and some don't know, is mortgage payments. So round it up. Like, it's super, super easy, guys. The rule of thumb is one extra payment. So if you make, let's use a number of like a $450,000 loan, just throwing out there in our area. If your principal and interest payment, say, is $2,000 a month for the principal and interest, if you make one additional principal payment onto the mortgage every year, that's going to knock off between 5 and 7 years just by doing
Of
that.
interest.
Of payments. I mean, the interest savings is generally going to be somewhere around $80,000
There you go.
of interest.
That's the number I was looking for. That puts it in perspective.
Huge. Yeah. So now
that's wild.
You have a 23-year mortgage and you saved yourself $80,000.
Yeah.
I mean, now you could buy new furniture.
You get the
You
furniture
can hire
discount.
Rob.
Yeah. Jesus. Yeah.
Design extraordinaire.
$8,000 worth of furniture.
Oh my God.
You will spend that much at Pottery Barn though.
He's going to start building that into our buyer consultations now.
It is good furniture. Oh my God. Well, these are good ways. These are awesome ways to save a lot of money. Anything else that you guys?
Yeah, we want to set up our clients for success even after, right? And from my standpoint, I like reasons to stay in touch, especially when it's your buyer, right? You have this period of time where you're talking all the time. You're showing them homes. You're doing all the steps. You're constantly in contact. You want to continue to build that rapport. We thrive on referrals and repeat clients, right? Yeah. So what I like to try to do is annual reviews of their home value as well. It's a great reason to reach out and touch them. It's a great reason to say, hey, how are things? Just wanted to let you know I'm going to be sending you, an annual report on your home.
Yes.
Simple for us. It's a quick CMA. It doesn't take us a lot of time, but it's just something simple to keep them up to date on what's happening. They're not paying attention as much anymore, like they were when they were buying homes, right?
Sure.
They're not actively looking.
What is a CMA?
A comparative market analysis.
Okay. So make sure everyone knows, because I'm yes. Okay.
So we run an analysis. We try to do it on a yearly basis.
Nice.
And just give them a quick update. It might not change much, especially in those first couple years. Yeah. But they like to see some slight growth. They like to be reassured. All right, maybe we paid a little bit of a premium in this market, but we're still getting some growth. Yep. And we're still in a comfortable position with the value of our home.
From a trusted professional, not just a
Zestimate
or
avoid the
or a random algorithm telling them what their house is worth. Sure.
That's great. And proof in the pudding. That's where I know most of your businesses. It's mostly referral.
Sure.
Yeah, that's where when Frank calls me, he's like, "Yeah, I sold someone a property like 8 years ago, and then their brother's friend's cousin, and you
how it works, man.
you don't get that without giving great service and being relationship oriented.
Absolutely, yeah, we definitely
awesome.
pride ourselves on that, and we want them to know that we're still there for them for anything. I think we've talked about this before, right?
Yep.
We want them to always feel like they can reach out to us for stuff.
Yep.
So if we're staying in contact consistently, it does make that easier for them to be like, I'm not sure about that. Let me call Matt, or let me call Frank, let me call Rob, and just check.
Yes.
That it's nice for us to be reassured that they can lean on us, but then they're going to remember our name too, right?
Yep.
Because that's where those referrals really come from.
Absolutely.
We were talking about that too. A neat idea as a simple little gift when we close on the home with them that we want to start doing, is a simple sheet with sort of those seasonal things they want to remember to do with their home, right? In wintertime, shut off the valves to the outside hoses, right? So they don't freeze, and change the filters, check the batteries in the smoke detectors, check your gutters, right? After fall, like all those things. And there's a simple thing that we can come up with.
Yep.
And then it's there. It's always in front of them. They always see it. It's easy reminders.
Yes.
Right. And it's a little item of value. I think that can go a long way.
Especially
from
in
us
the garage or somewhere you pass all the time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Put it up for them during the walkthrough, right before they close. It's there. It's going to stay there. It's in the garage. It's not taking up space in the house. Yep. They're not going to throw it in a drawer or in a closet. It's always going to be there. And then they're going to appreciate it, I think. It's the constant reminders.
Permanently branded.
It's that, and of course it's going to be branded. Absolutely.
Absolutely. I keep them front and foremost. So.
That's right. Yeah. And it's those little things, right? That we can't always be on top of remembering to remind them all the time either. Yeah. So it helps us too when you have how many clients in your database.
Well, and how many people too, they, especially first-time home buyers, or maybe their parents weren't like that, or educate them. I'm finding that too.
Sure.
How to change a tire. If you never were taught, how are you going to teach someone else? You know what I mean?
That would be me.
So yeah, like, a
lot of people out there that don't know how to do it.
That's deferred maintenance stuff.
It's surprising how many people think that after you buy a house, you don't need to do anything else.
Yeah.
And so having a checklist like this would be great.
Yeah, absolutely. Nice reminder. Awesome. And it is. And sometimes it's a reality check for people like, oh, I didn't know. Maybe that they didn't know they had to do it. They're like, I didn't know I'm supposed to do it that often. Yeah. Or that in that frequency, like with filters on the HVAC and things like that. Like people don't even think about how often you should really do that.
You'd be surprised how many times we've seen sellers' property disclosures, and right on the line where it asks you when was the last time it was serviced, and I just saw it. It's unknown.
Yeah, they've lived in that house 7 years, 9 years, and they're like unknown. We're like, oh, wait.
No, it does happen.
And that is the concern, right? Especially in this market, like we've said, when you want to set up your buyer for success, if it's multiple offers or anything, you want to be able to cross certain things off the list to give them some peace of mind. Yeah. When they look at a disclosure and they're like everything's unknown, you're like, well, this is not helping our case at all.
Yes. It's scary.
Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect. All right. Well, those are perfect tips, awesome tips to follow, go buy the house, save money.
Right.
There you go. So guys,
all the above.
Any questions? Hopefully you watch through this. Jot down 2 or 3 even. Any questions, you know who to call. Give these guys a shout. Like I said, keeping that property in tip-top shape, saving money as best you can. And thanks for coming.
Yeah, awesome.
Thanks for having us.
Good stuff.
All right.
Thanks for the chat.
Absolutely. And we'll see you guys on the next time.